Father, you know me, you know my name. Abba Father, you know me, you know my name.
Abba Father, you know me, you know my name.
You know my name, oh Daddy.
You know me, you know my name.
I can see your hand in my life. Lord, I see your love upon me. Every time I look around, now you are the see. Every time I turn around, now you are the view. I dey hear your voice in my heart. Lord, I feel your love over me. Every time I look around, now you are the see. Every time I turn around, now you are the pillow. I'm a father, you know my name. Papa, you know me.
You know me, you know my name.
Yelele, 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 yelele. Yelele, 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 yelele.
Yelele, 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 yelele.
Yeah, yeah.
Yelele, yelele, yelele.
Jesus, your love, now oh. My master, your kindness, now wonder oh. Every time I look around, now you are the sea. Every time I turn around, now you are the view. Jesus, you said I be a picking, no. Jesus, you said your love go cover me. Every time I look around, now you are the sea. Every time I look around, now you are the pillow. Abba Father, you know me, you know my name.
Abba Father,
Yeah.
you know me.
Thank you very much, Reverend Sama. Yes, Abba Father, He knows your name and He knows the name of the people of the former British Southern Cameroons, Ambazonia. We greet you all and 21 gun salutes to all of you at home front who are keeping the watch and making sure that every prophetic and prophecy concerning our homeland is attained. It can only be attained when people like you step in to do what you're supposed to do. Once again, I want to apologize for this late start due to some emergencies, but I'm sure we are here together. Today, I'm going to bring you a very special a historical point, and I want you to listen to this historical point very, very cautiously and very carefully. And after that, we can have a discussion. And I would like you to let me know when we get into the discussion what you think of what you have just listened. There are so many people who have said so many things, and like we normally say, it's only what you do now that is very, very important. What you did yesterday is good, but it's not as important as what you do today. Now, yesterday, were you were very vocal, and you were very, very straightforward and stern as touching what we are doing. But where are you today? Are you still in the same spirit? Well, Reverend Sama, tell us again, so that I want to let you know that our Father knows your name, but you can change your name. Not him changing it, you can change it. So listen to Reverend Sama once more. He always like to come into the studios with me, and I appreciate that. Listen to him, and after that, I want you to remember something. But then listen to Reverend. Reverend, please, can you come back in and then tell the Ambazonian people the love and the name that your father has?
I give you glory. Abba Father, you know me, you know my name.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And I wish that all Ambazonians should turn around and see the Father who knows your name and is actually looking forward to having you accept and acknowledge the name that you have confessed that He knows. Yes, when you confess that He knows your name and you agree to go with that name that you know that He knows, something definite will happen to you. And I want us to take some time now and listen to this before we go ahead. Now, these are people who tomorrow I will be giving you the analysis to let you know that when we talk of salvation, there is nothing that is called eternal, how do you call it, predestination, or there is nothing like once saved, saved. You are always saved. Because if it was like that, then many of us would have been consistent. Now, what causes people not to be consistent in what they do and what they say? I want you to listen to these clips. Listen to these clips. They are old, but I want you to listen to them and tell us where we are now as far as our revolution is concerned. Gentlemen, can you come into the studio? Go ahead.
Putting blame where we should put blame. We make too many excuses for things that we should not have excuses for. And so we miss the opportunity to direct our people as to what they should do. Now, let me be clear about what I mean. Number one, Deacon Tasang is in that prison. He had the lucidity, he had the discernment to know that this is not the right thing to do. When leaders do the wrong thing, they apologize for doing the wrong thing and they back down. They don't stick it to people. They don't tell people I am right and these conditions were okay. No. You back down, you tell people, you apologize for what you have done because you have done wrong by the people of Ambazonia. Not only have you done wrong today, but before you embrace the domestic dialogue of La République du Cameroun, or was it a consultation, you have been remarked for not endorsing the internationally supported mediation under the Swiss. So that is a message you have sent to the people of Ambazonia, that you are now lining up with Agbobala, being applauded by federalists, being applauded by francophones. This is what we have wanted. Being applauded by people who are traitors, as Abdul Karim was pointing out a moment ago. When you find yourself in that team, there should not be an excuse for you. There should be an apology that you owe the people of Ambazonia. And the people of Ambazonia should hold you to account. When you are a leader abroad in the diaspora, someone like Choayaba, and I don't want to insult anybody, he's a great leader. He can deliver great speeches. He inspires a lot of people. But when you don't have something to offer, you don't have something to offer, full stop. And when you don't have a mediation process, don't sell the Norwegians coming on white horses because they are not coming. Bring the people of Ambazonia to the only existing negotiation that is out there. To La République du Cameroun, the people of Ambazonia understand why La République du Cameroun finds itself where they find themselves. While they have denounced the fact that there are no negotiations with Siseko, they have never denounced the fact that they have committed to the Swiss-led process. So it's very clear where there is a negotiation and where they cannot pull out. So don't get fooled by people who are telling you either side can win. No. There is only one possible winning solution for Ambazonia. You will not obtain independence from La République du Cameroun because they themselves don't have independence and they have nothing to offer you. The French have not granted them independence yet. And speaking about the French are coaching La République du Cameroun not to sign on to any ceasefire. This is what the French did in Algeria. If you read the Algerian history, the French refused to acknowledge that there was a war going on because according to French logic, Algeria was part of their country. So they were just fighting, armed gangs. That is why La République is not on that list of signatures. Now, there is total embarrassment in Yaoundé because they know that the government of the United States supports the Swiss-led process. And these buffoons who don't even know how to deal with anything, who can go on television and say that they are working for the FBI when they're hired by a genocidal government. When these buffoons start saying that Tibo Nagy is directing the negotiations, then they find themselves in diplomatic hot water, and then they start recanting everything. People of Ambazonia, there is one correct thing that's happening in this struggle. You are signing up to a war draft. You are committing in the face of the international community that you will have freedom and independence, or you will take death in exchange. You are doing the right thing. You who are defending our people on the ground, you are doing the right thing. If you have not joined Ambazonia yet, join now, because the people of Ambazonia are not reversing. And don't give any excuses to anybody who refuses to align with the right path. And that includes the Catholic Church, which served as a host for this event. The Catholic Church should get out of politics unless they want to get into politics and do the right thing, because Christ did not defend falsehood. The Catholic Church, stop doing what you are doing. It's valid for the Catholic Church in Ambazonia. It's valid for the Catholic Church in La République du Cameroun. It's valid for the Pope, who should be the first to be denouncing this genocide. Please, people of Ambazonia, there's one process that you should back, there's one war you should back, and there's one nation you should stand with. Don't be like those of us who thought we can support Frundi because we thought he was right. No. When a leader is wrong, you get behind him. That's what I did. I left someone like Frundi. And I used to report also for Mr. Paul Biya. I traveled with him once on a state visit to France. He's a useless leader. He calls himself a people president of the French. Let the French instruct him to come to Switzerland, where he will meet the people of Ambazonia. Let's debate this matter and free our people from bondage.
Wow, 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 wow. I hope Ambazonians, sometimes it's good to visit history. For those who think that visiting history is not a good thing, I think you are making a mistake. I don't know if you have understood what our senior man is saying here. And I don't like bringing negative things on my program, because our history is to show us the positive side where we are going. But unfortunately, we can't avoid every negative thing. I just want us to ask ourselves, where is this gentleman who has just spoken? Where is him today? Yesterday, he said Ayaba was one of the persons who make a lot of speeches and has nothing to show. But today, he is very hand and gloves with the same person. Is this witchcraft, or what am I hearing, or what am I saying? Anyway, I'll be coming back shortly. Let's listen to When I Remember, and I will be right back with you to continue in our history for today.
Hallelujah.
Thank you very much, my dear sister. That is why it is good to remember. When you remember, at the end of the day, you will have not geography to tell, you will have history to tell. Amazonians, stick to your interim government. Your interim government is strong and going through all the turbulence. But let me tell you that in going through all that they are going through, we are resolved. And the resolution we have taken is that we are making it in Boya. Whether the people like it or not, it is very, very clear we are making it in Boya. And if you are there and you are not in your LGA, please, I will advise you sincerely and strongly to get to your LGA. Get to your LGA When you get your LGA, then you can now bring out your contribution at your LGA, because the interim government has a focus. Yes, many people have commented about having different kinds of revolution and struggles in order to restore or regain their independence. But I want to let you know that Ambazonians' own is very, very peculiar. Why is it peculiar? I've heard some people grumble, oh, these pastors, they're always coming in with God and so on. If we're not coming in with God, and if God was not in this issue, I am telling some of you who have joined your hands to fraternal societies, secret societies, witches and wizards, and talking about ancestors and ancestral spirits and so on, would have been long gone, because it's only God Almighty that has the power to subdue every other demonic power. Yes, La Republique, as you have heard from the horse's mouth, Bo Herbert has just mentioned here that La Republique does not have independence. And if La Republique does not have independence, how do you think that we will gain independence by joining them? He has said it with his mouth. But today I am shocked with some of the pronouncements that these very people are coming out with. You know, that's why when I tell people that handing over your life to the Lord Jesus Christ is different from being religious. Everybody talks about God, but how real is that God in your life? Now, I'm not going to point to saints who have died, dead people who have gone. I will always make Ambazonians to understand, to some of you who have been listening to a lot of lies from other avenues, I want you to go back and retract all the speeches that have been made by some of these people who call them, our whatever, how do you call them? They call them frontline leaders. Frontline leaders without a following, frontline leaders who can change tomorrow with situations. I have said that I don't want to bring anything negative as far as this struggle is concerned, because there are so many negative stories that can discourage a number of Amazonian people. But I want to let you know that there are so many positive stories, very few lay hands on it. And the few who lay hands on it are the ones that want the truth. People want to get into Ambazonia by crook or by any means. But we don't want to get into the Ambazonia, our land, by crook. No, we want to get in there through the right door. And that right door is straight, is small, narrow. Very few people get into it. And the people who get into it, you can discover. I have played from time to time some of the prominent men in our revolution who came up actually wanting to make sure that we get into our land. But suddenly, what happened to them on the highway? The hatred that they have exhibited on our president, Dr. Samuel Sako Ikome, is the one that even even God does not exhibit on Satan. Let me go to that extreme. The hatred that some Ambazonians have for this man is the one that even God does not exhibit on Satan. In the sense that this guy has stood very, very straightforward. They have tried by every means. I'm sure that an average Ambazonian who has been listening to the coup plotters and been listening to the CND, all the groups that they have been forming, going to hold meetings in Canada, going to hold meetings in Pennsylvania, going to hold meetings, joining together. They recently, what they call ACT and so on, where all kinds of people were there talking trash. I'm sorry to say they were talking trash because they have left the right thing that is supposed to be done. And you find people who don't know where to stand, coming out to tell us, oh, we would have gone with this and with that and with that. Please, go ahead and form what you think would have gone ahead with. Ambazonia is for all of us. And we're looking for all of us are looking for ways to free our Ambazonia. If you have a way to free that land, please, go ahead. We will jump into that country physically when you have freed it. Let's not sit behind here and continue our criticizing this one and you have nothing to offer. Bring what you have to offer. Go ahead with what you are offering, and then people will follow you. And if tomorrow it happens that you have breakthrough and that you are the one that has given us the breakthrough, and we are good, we will follow you. Nobody will hold anybody, responsible. Please. Now, it is our Ambazonia. Our Ambazonia does not belong to a single person. No, it doesn't belong to the IG alone. It belongs to all of us. But the interim government is the principal person that when he talks and says anything, some of us have come up to confuse our men and women, our civil society at home front by multiplying and calling names of different kinds of people that have nothing to offer but propaganda and lies, no substance. I hope you listen to my comrade friend Bo Herbert. He mentioned a few names, and he particularly mentioned the person now he is now working hand in gloves with and putting, the hatred for Dr. Sako, I don't understand. I will call it pure witchcraft. Yes, this is witchcraft in the daytime in Africa. But guess what? No witch, no wizard will be able to pull down what God has put together. If this man is working by the mandate of God, I want to tell some of the Amazonians who have lace with Satan to fight the interim government, you are wasting time. If you think that we are going to go to Ambazonia with what do you call it, war council or revolutionary council or whatever, go ahead and form it. Leave the interim government alone. Why are you always landing on the interim government? Definitely these people are doing something that is right, and Satan is very furious and is mad about what he's doing. I want you to listen again. I'm just going to play a portion of what our comrade is saying here, and I want you to listen very attentively to what Bo Herbert is saying. And I think
ladies and gentlemen, I don't want us to waste the opportunity of putting blame where we should put blame. We make too many excuses for things that we should not have excuses for. And so we miss the opportunity to direct our people as to what they should do. Now, let me be clear about what I mean. Number one, Deacon Tassang is in that prison. He had the lucidity, he had the discernment to know that this is not the right thing to do. When leaders do the wrong thing, they apologize for doing the wrong thing and they back down. They don't stick it to people. They don't tell people I am right and these conditions were okay. No. You back down, you tell people, you apologize for what you have done because you have done wrong by the people of Ambazonia. Not only have you done wrong today, but before you embrace the domestic dialogue of La République du Cameroun, or was it a consultation, you have been remarked for not endorsing the internationally supported mediation under the Swiss. So that is a message you have sent to the people of Ambazonia, that you are now lining up with Agbobala, being applauded by federalists, being applauded by francophones. This is what we have wanted.
Now, you can hear him here expressing and talking what Ambazonians actually were heading for. Now, I want to ask, who has actually bewitched our people? Does it mean that the demonic organizations and initiations of La République du Cameroun are actually working on some of us? Because there are some criminals that I call them criminals, because when you harden your heart from hearing the truth, what is the truth? The truth is not just speeches that people make. The truth is something that when it is said, it can be verified. And when you have hardened your heart and given over yourself to the devil, and you don't want to go with the liberation movement that is paving the way, making you to see, that is why interim government, please, whatever happens, they call us surrogates. Thank God we are surrogates for good things. Hang on and continue with what you are doing. Mr. President, remember the people of Ambazonia are listening to you. You've not only got the balls in your hands, you've gotten the keys. And we applaud you for being resilient and for being consistent and for talking the truth that can be verified tomorrow. I've been listening to you over the years, and all the lies. A few days ago, I played an audio of a young man of your category lamenting that he joined to impeach what they call impeachment, which they had impeached, and today they are still talking about somebody whom they had impeached. What an irony of people who think that somebody has been removed and they are still talking about the person every day. Now, I heard him lamenting that the evidence he was looking for, he has not gotten the evidence. Is that what Ambazonians should do at this stage in the in the 21st century? Should we still behave like La Republique, who will put people in prison, punish them, shave their heads, only to actually come up at the end of the day and begin to regret? Now, that regret, with the beatings that have beaten you, with the torture you have been tortured, can they retrieve it? That is why we are building a nation whereby justice will go before any punishment. But people just want to get into what they call peace without justice. It doesn't work. That's why the interim government has put stakes in places that we must go ahead. Remember, this is 2022, and we are facing another very serious time. La Republique must get out of our land. And that's why the interim government has called on all Ambazonians to come back and draft. The people who stole our money have gone up to form their own group, and they are doing their own things. Have you heard the interim government interrupting and calling their names? But every day on their social media, every day, it is Dr. Saku, because they have realized that all that they have tried to do has not worked. Now they go with blackmail. And there are a few knuckleheads, I call them knuckleheads, especially La Republique people, who come in to write rubbish and to make sure they discredit the Ambazonian people. You know, bless Tanyi. I don't think this is an Ambazonian. She should be a black leg. You know, Fonkem or whatever thing they call himself. No, not Prince. This Mark Powell. You know, they hide their real names, and they get names that, you know, just coming to disturb. Anyway, these are people who devil has sent them to distract us, and we are not going to pay attention to them. So, Les Tanyi, Mark Powell, as you call yourself, we know that you are all criminals and you are all detractors. Look at the few minutes I've used to talk about you. Okay, that is gone. So what I'm saying is that the Ambazonian people are determined. And because we are determined, we have the liars and people who have refused to listen to the truth. They come up with lies, with all allegations, and they have not worked. But we are focused. Now, I want to tell Ambazonians, the draft has started. The draft has started. If you have not yet started, please start. If you have not yet started, but start. Pay your draft into your LGA. And this time around, no amount is too small. No amount is too small. Don't say, okay, because I don't have $1,000, I will not be able to. No. This year, 2022, the interim government has planned using your LGA to make sure that none of you who brings in whatever you have, sometimes we call it widow's mite, bring in your widow's mite, it will be accounted for. You are contributing and you are doing something. I've heard some people saying, well, since they always put us out, this year we're not putting anybody out. Whatever amount you have, just call your interim, your LGA, hand it over to your LGA and ask them to make sure that your name is recorded with your amount for accountability. It will be done. Again, no amount is small. No amount is small. The target of 1,000 above is okay. It's still going on. But the target of $1, you know, above is not also neglected. We don't neglect it. So please don't stay back. Even your child who is going to school, your children. I overheard a number of people from home front telling us that they are going to also draft. They are paying a lot at home front, yet they are prepared to support and make sure that this particular 2022 does not become like 2020 and 2021, where we had a number of embezzlers, a number of coup plotters, a number of thieves like Powell, like Blaze. I know these are some of the thieves. They have been looking for a way to steal the money, but today it's not going to go into their hands. Those thieves have been taken away. And so they are wasting their time in whatever they are saying and they are doing. So, Ambazonians, I want to encourage you. I want to encourage you to make sure that you get up and do the drafting in your LGA. Now, a number of people have got up to confuse our people and to send them to be killed by La Republique. Fighters on home front. I'm sure you have ears to hear. The president has advised you. All the defense chiefs have advised you that you should stick to where you were before. Nobody changes the team that wins. If you are winning and somebody comes and deceives you to change your team and you go into another team, you may meet your Waterloo in that particular team. And so we are encouraging all of you to get up and draft in your LGAs. Most of the thieves have been taken out. And this time around, there is a much more security. But I want us to listen to our friend who has been talking so vehemently about our going to the Swiss in order for the mediation, so that there can be a stop in this fight. Now, he started off very well. The question we are asking today, now, if you bring this man again to this particular TV today, will he talk the same language? That is why you must be very careful. It was a songwriter that said that there is no condition that is permanent. And if you are not very careful, you can be swept under feet. Now, I have been telling you people, and I will continue to say it, there are only two ways to get you talk another language. One is very much spiritual, and the other one is physical. If you are attacked and handled spiritually, you can be swept off your feet when you are initiated. Now, listen to this, our friend. Let me play him again, and you listen very attentively. I'm glad he's the one who spoke mostly in this particular broadcast. Listen to him again. Listen.
Deacon Tassang is in that prison. He had the lucidity, he had the discernment to know that this is not the right thing to do. When leaders do the wrong thing, they apologize for doing the wrong thing and they back down. They don't stick it to people. They don't tell people I am right and these conditions were okay. No. You back down, you tell people, you apologize for what you have done because you have done wrong by the people of Ambazonia. Not only have you done wrong today, but before you embrace the domestic dialogue of La République du Cameroun, or was it a consultation, you have been remarked for not endorsing the internationally supported mediation under the Swiss. So that is a message you have sent to the people of Ambazonia, that you are now lining up with Agbobala, being applauded by federalists, being applauded by francophones. This is what we have wanted. Being applauded by people who are traitors, as Abdul Karim was pointing out a moment ago. When you find yourself in that team, there should not be an excuse for you. There should be an apology that you owe the people of Ambazonia. And the people of Ambazonia should hold you to account. When you are a leader abroad in the diaspora, someone like Cho Ayaba, and I don't want to insult anybody, he's a great leader. He can deliver great speeches. He inspires a lot of people. But when you don't have something to offer, you don't have something to offer.
Thank you very much. He can deliver great speeches and doesn't have something to offer. Is it true that his speeches don't have something to offer? You have said it. But today, again, Ambazonians, sit up, because you can be very inspired today to step in and fight and make sure that you put things in place to go to Ambazonia. But the following day, something can happen to you when you are not spiritually strong. Having the knowledge of the Bible or the knowledge of the Quran does not guarantee you are knowing it all. No, the knowledge sometimes can be puffed up and sometimes deceitful. We are talking about the spirit. Do you have the spirit that God has taken over the people of Amazonia and has dropped into the hearts of those who are making it in God's land, Amazonia? If you do, then step in and be consistent. Now, I want to let us know that somebody made a statement here that we are not being supported because we have the name Amazonia in the UN. No, our name in the UN is not Amazonia. We have never written any document in the name of Amazonia. Amazonia is an AKA name, but we know we are British Southern Cameroons, and that name shall be rectified. We are not going to continue as British Southern Cameroons because we are no more British Southern Cameroons. If you want to call us now, you can say former British Southern Cameroons, which is still an old name. And so all the names that we have had, West Cameroon, British Southern Cameroons, Amazonia, United Republic of Cameroon, Federal Republic of Cameroon, now Republic of Cameroon, all the names, if you calculate, you see that we have had more than 7 names. And all these names shall be decided upon in the parliament right there in Boya. This 21st century generation of the Amazonian people will not take no for an answer, and nobody is going to decide our fate for ourselves, for us. We are going to do it by ourselves. And with that, we should be extremely, very, very serious in what we are doing. Now, our friend has just mentioned one of the great leaders, according to him, but casted a doubt on what actually is going on. Yes, if you casted a doubt that he is giving much speeches, yesterday we saw a group of you gathering. Is it to go to Amazonia or is it to fight against the interim government? And when they mention interim government, unfortunately, many people think of Sako. Sako is not the interim government. He's just the chairman of the interim government, just like Ayutabe was the chairman in those days when he restored, when he declared our restoration. He didn't restore it, he declared it because the people gave him power. And so when you have a team that is winning, I know that as God has taken over this battle, Satan too is very furious. And you can see his agents. Once you get into what we are talking now, you can see the agents of darkness. Is it that they plan to become agents? No, not really. It's because there are 2 forces that are fighting: the power of God and the power of Satan. And these 2, they are conquering. They are in a competition. And so many people fall by the wayside. I remember I'm reading a history book that talks of a farmer who went out to sow seeds, and some of the seeds fell by the wayside. Some fell among thorns and they were choked. Some fell among rocks, and so on and so forth. But there were some that fell on good ground. And the few that fell on good ground are the ones that are making headways. When you sit down, you talk, you come up with your jealous machine and your machinery to make sure you destroy the one that is going ahead. We move ahead. A few days ago, we were deliberating on how to go ahead, and we have taken decisions of which we will not announce to you because we know that you are spoilers. You have joined hands with La Republique. You know, those who were hating Agbubala, today they are dining and whining with him. Nobody, the interim government does not hate anybody. Remember, the interim government has made you understand that you are an Ambazonian. You have your belief. Create your own empire. Like, you know, we have seen people trying to do. Do it and run with it and take us to Boya. That's all. We are not in a competitive drive here. No, we are not on a relay to see who is going to arrive Boya first. No, we just want to go to Boya, and anybody who arrives Boya is an Ambazonian, and we will join together. So let's listen to our friend say some of these things again, because I think that they are very important. And then if you have an opportunity, just call him and find out, hey, Mr. Man, this is what you were saying. Can you say the same thing today? And let's know what's going on. That's why you must be very, very careful.
Don't sell the Norwegians coming on white horses, because they are not coming. Bring the people of Ambazonia to the only existing negotiation that is out there. To La République du Cameroon, the people of Ambazonia understand why La République du Cameroon finds itself where they find themselves. While they have denounced the fact that there are no negotiations with Siseko, they have never denounced the fact that they have committed to the Swiss-led process. So it's very clear where there is a negotiation and where they cannot pull out. So don't get fooled by people who are telling you either side can win. No. There is only one possible winning solution for Ambazonia. You will not obtain independence from La République du Cameroon because they themselves don't have independence and they have nothing to offer you. The French have not granted them independence yet. And speaking about the French are coaching them, coaching La République du Cameroon, not to sign on to any ceasefire. This is what the French did in Algeria. If you read the Algerian history, the French refused to acknowledge that there was a war going on because, according to French logic, Algeria was part of their country. So they were just fighting, armed gangs. That is why La République is not on that list of signatures. Now, there is total embarrassment in Yaoundé because they know that the government of the United States supports the Swiss-led process. And these buffoons who don't even know how to deal with anything, who can go on television and say that they are working for the FBI when they're hired by a genocidal government, when these buffoons start saying that Thibault Nagy is directing the negotiations, then they find themselves in diplomatic hot water. And then they start recanting everything. People of Ambazonia, there is one correct thing that's happening in this struggle. You are signing up to a war draft. You are committing in the face of the international community that you will have freedom and independence or you will take death in exchange. You are doing the right thing. You who are defending our people.
Thank you very much, very, very much. Ambazonians, you are doing the right thing. You who have signed up that you must go to Boya, you are doing the right thing. And this right thing that you are doing, continue to do it. People will come and preach to you that you are doing the right thing, and tomorrow they may not be there again to say the same things. But before they had said it. That is why on our history channel, we bring to you excerpts like what you have just listened and what I actually intended to bring to you today. Now, there are a number of people that I would not like to just keep repeating, but it's very, very good for us to know exactly what is going on so that we can stand our ground. Now, this is an audio that I have played before, and I want you to listen to it again. Now, I want to tell you, Ambazonians, that this game in which we are in is a game that you don't need to be ashamed. If you make a mistake and you truly know that you have made a mistake, come back home. Dr. Chita was inaugurated as the president of the coup plotters. But when he sat down to examine in his new office the accusations labeled on an innocent person with no evidence, he discovered that it was fake. Now, this is a character of an individual who is sincere, not just going to believe on innuendos. And he came out, and today he is still serving the people of Ambazonia. Now, I don't know. What about you? Now, listen to this lamentation here. Listen to the lamentation, and then you let me know.
That song has spoken what I wanted to say. Okay, and I want to thank my friend what she has spoken. We need to be very strategic in everything we are doing, and we are a little bit slow because when we said that we're going to bring out the evidence that Sako has embezzled money or which is financial misappropriation, I demanded that I just need the hardcore evidence, just hardcore one, and Sako is gone. Sako off. It came that Mola Edi had some evidence and Nancho had evidence. And nothing is coming out. That is my concern. Then this Sako will not be making more. I bet you.
You can listen to you can hear the language. It came to a point, this is Dr. Epa talking. It came to a point that they said Eddie Mola has evidence, had some evidence, and Nanchop had evidence. But it is not coming out. That's his lamentation. That's his regret that none of this is coming up. It's coming out. After how many months? Now, if you have an evidence about something, should you take you months? Should you not bring it out immediately? So what are you waiting? While the people that are prepared to carry out the execution, either physically or spiritually, because a curse without a cause cannot happen. So they want the evidence, and the evidence is not forthcoming. If you are a sincere Ambazonian, very sincere, don't you think that you have been lied to? Don't you think that you have been hypnotized? Don't you think that your face, your brain has been covered, and you are now walking in what we used to call nyongo? Because if there is no evidence, why don't you bounce back and say, I was lied to? It means that, I trust one of my county members who put up an adage that I always like to use, that when you find people throwing stones at an individual without investigating what actually is going on, it means that they had deep-rooted hatred and they were waiting only for an opportunity to condemn that person without verification. And that is what some of these people who are saying that they are Ambazonians, I don't want to attribute it to tribal sentiments. No, it is pure wickedness and in dishonesty of the highest order, that you are looking for an evidence, it has not come forth, then you still continue, and the evidence is not coming. Are these people in the moon that they could not send the evidence that you were looking for? Your colleagues of the same nature went in there and discovered that no, what they were talking were innuendos, no evidence. Ambazonians, I want to tell some of you, I just got some names saying that they have resigned from a particular group. I wouldn't mention it here, as if it is only yesterday. Well, I know that there is a man in the authentic history book that I'm reading who was very zealous, going around killing those who were following Christ, and he actually believed that he was doing God's service. But the time came when he realized that he was doing the wrong thing, and he repented. The interim government is very open for those who have a repentant heart. And I've been talking and praying that this man who has been looking for evidence for more than 6 months and is still looking for evidence today, the evidence they will give you, sir, with all due respect, will be evidence that will implicate you in the last days because you have decided to believe a lie. But if I were you, with no evidence given, I will not be ashamed. I will make a U-turn because all that is going on is fake. Why do I call it fake? Because there cannot be a fake without a genuine. So the interim government of which we are talking about on ABC, President Sako, still stands out to be the tested and tried leader for now. He is not an eternal leader for Ambazonia. No. He has his term and his time. And when the term and time shall come, naturally, if he doesn't go, he may stay in power like some of the people, the tyrants and the dictators of Africa. But I don't think it's going to be his portion because, number one, this is God's doing in Ambazonia. And he is not just a religious person. He's a deep, down-rooted, ardent follower, strict of God. And that's why all the accusations and all the plans to blackmail him, he has stolen money, no evidence. He has gotten a deal, no evidence. He has done this, no evidence. Just innuendos and innuendos. And what is he doing? As a God-fearing person, he is continuing and focusing on the direction and directives that God has given him. And because God has given him these directives, yes, some of us whom you call surrogates, we have opened our ears and our eyes and we are listening. I've listened to some of you who have gone out of this interim government, and I don't have anything to comment of good. And so I will not say either good or bad, but I want to assure you that 3/4 of those of you who have run out of the interim government, as I heard the vice president really emphasizing on know your interim government, is that most of you have stolen money that were given for action in your local government area. And now you have jumped out so that you should not be accountable to this government. And the government that you call your government now, I don't know what name they have adopted for themselves. Now, tomorrow, when they want to question you, you will say it was not under your regime. Just like he mentioned how Tabinyang went away with our money, my trip to Boya, and all the blames were heaped on Dr. Sako. And he claimed that he was not answerable to Sako, he was answerable to Ayuk Tabe, who is in prison. And so many of you have done the same thing. Well, this interim government handed over our land, the Federal Republic of Amazonia, to God Almighty. And guess what? God Almighty is the judge. He is the judge. Now, anybody who comes in between and tries to judge, you are judging the wrong thing, because you are not the master. You are just a servant. What do I mean by judgment? It does not mean that when you do the wrong thing, you should not be taught. You should not be told. Those of you who have stolen money and you have lied and tried to put the blame. I remember I was watching again another video where two gentlemen, a man and a woman, one of them came up and said, now my chairman, my former chairman told me that Dr. Sako advised him to get the money and put into Bitcoin. And the young man came on the same media and said, no, madam, I never told you that. I've never discussed anything with Dr. Sako concerning Bitcoin. Can you imagine the lies in the open? Yet, people will not understand that. People will just carry in their mind, he is into Bitcoin. Of course, Bitcoin is a business. But then, he is not in any Bitcoin business with anybody and with the money of the Amazonian people, because he doesn't have the money. Now, some of the people that were in the National Treasury who knows the in and out, who have joined the co-plotters, would have nailed, in fact, they would have put up, is it 93 points or 97 points that Matunuta put on the Catholic Church? These people would have put up double of the points against Dr. Sako if he was that long hand and stealing money from the treasury as they have been trying to paint. But the man is cold-headed, because he that wears the crown and is following after God is down there, and he needs fear no fall. There is no fall for him. Not because he is the almighty Mike, no, because he has the fear of God. And the fear of God is the beginning of wisdom, and the fear of God is the beginning and the stability that a person can have. If you want to be stable in this government, remember this government has been taken out from a demonic influence into a spiritually holy influence. And for you to stay clear and be accepted in this government and work with this government, you need to be very much clean in your hands, your heart, and your spirit, with no grudge. That's why we are, in our history, whenever we say it, we advise and call upon you to come back and join the interim government. Is open. The interim government is open for you to come back. Those of you who have discovered lies where you were, please, the door is open. You can come back, because Abba Father knows your name. Our time is up, and I shall be back with you tomorrow with another edition. And our history will not only be me talking, I will be bringing back to you some of the people that have made the history when they were in the history. And then you can find out where they are today. Go and ask Dr. Sako. He has not changed from what he was and what he is today. He's still going ahead. Once again, the door is open. You've tried to form your own groups to counteract and fight the interim government, which is a mistake. We are making groups to fight La Republique. If you have made up your group, I was very happy when I listened to a certain meeting that was going on with some groups, and the people were emphasizing and asking questions. Where are you fighting? Yes, the interim government is actually putting impact on the home front. Where are you putting impact? They were asking. I was happy about that. If we can be conscientious and go ahead to do that, we will get to our home sooner than later. Well, today, God bless you. Listen to Abba Father, because he knows your name. And then when he knows your name, he will remember. All right, come in.
Now you are the sea. Every time I turn around, now you are the pillow. Abba Father, you know my name. Papa, you know me. Yelele, 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 yelele. Yelele, 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 yelele. Yeah, yeah. Jesus, your love, now wow. My master, your kindness, now wonder, oh. Every time I look around, now you are the sea. Every time I turn around, now you are the field. Jesus, you say, I be a picking, no. Jesus, you say, your love go cover me. Every time I look around, now you are the sea. Every time I look around, now you are the pillow. Abba Father, you know me, you know my name. Yeah. Papa, you know my name, oh. Yelele, yelele.
Yes, and when he knows your name, then you must remember. Good night.